Hello, I'm going in this video to show you how I'm currently recording my lectures. I've been experimenting with a couple of solutions over the last few days, and I've settled on one that, at least for me, works quite nicely, produce good quality videos such as the one you're currently looking at. And I thought that I could share how I created that with you. So what we're going to do in this video is first I'm going to review with you what we need before to get started. In particular, one piece of software called OBS, the Open Broadcast software, showing you how to install and configure it. I'm going to explain the main concept behind OBS. So it was an extremely powerful software and it is free. We'll see together how to set up for recording your lecture and actually practice. All right, let's get started by going over what we need to be able to record. First and foremost, a lecture. You need, of course, a computer. Your laptop is perfect for this, and I guess that as any modern laptop, it has a webcam, and we don't need much more than this to get started. The central part of equipment or software that we need here is called OBS, the Open Broadcast software. It's a free software that runs on Mac, Windows, and Linux, as I said, and we're going to install it. It is going to capture both the PowerPoint and the video as well as the audio. For this to record your voice in the best possible conditions, it is important that you use a microphone. So either, and ideally, a tie or lavalier microphone, but you can get away with using one of those cell phone handheld headsets that records your voice. It is okay. You hear a little bit of static and movement when I touch it. I apologize for this, but it is going to do pretty decent work. I would not favor to use the built-in microphone from your laptop for one main reason. It is going to capture the sounds that your laptop may produce when it is recording. As the recording can be computationally intensive, the fan will get started and then you will start to have this humming noise in the back. Okay, so those are all the parts we need, and now I'm going to switch to my screen and show you how to set up everything to get started. Okay, so the first step is to download OBS. So you can simply type obs project.com. The OBS stands for the Open Broadcaster Software. That's what we are going to use. This brings you to the web page. So OBS, one advantage, is available for Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. So select the operating system you have, in my case, Mac OS. It's downloading, so that's what's happening here. All right, OBS has been downloaded. Okay, just install it as you would do for any other software. We don't need that anymore. That's done. We simply need now to launch it. So here it is. OBS is started. I'm going to walk you through the main area of the main OBS window. So the big area here in black that you have is the canvas, or what holds the scene. The scene is where different sources, they can be audio, video, text, and many other things, are combined, and this is what is recorded. So OBS handles several scenes. You can have more than one, and you can actually transition between several of them, but we will not cover that today. That's an advanced topic. The second panel here is where you will handle all your sources, and we'll come back to that later. Here you have a relatively simple audio mixer where we can monitor the level of the different audio input you will have. Here, this is how the settings to transition between scenes. We will not talk about this today. And here a block about controls, where you have the most basic and essential functions of OBS, which is to start streaming or recording and stop afterwards, enter the so-called studio mode, and alter the settings of the software. In the lower right corner here, you have some metric about how your system behaves, so the load on the CPU and the number of frames per second that it is currently recording at, as well the recording time, or in case of live streaming, the live time here. So before we start anything, we need to make sure that a few settings are according to our needs. So we click here on settings, and we have this new window opening where you have different all the settings ordered by categories: general, stream, output, and so on. So in general, you have all the general aspect about language, theme, dialogues to be showed, and so on. So nothing to be changed or to be customized here at this moment. It's fairly standard. This tab here would deal with everything related to streaming the content of OBS directly onto streaming services such as YouTube, Twitch, and other things, Periscope, Twitter as well. You could stream there directly. Won't cover that today. An important tab in our case is the output when we're going to record. And there are different settings, way to arrange your settings. We're going to go for the simple mode, and that's ample sufficient for us. In terms of streaming or recording, so the video bitrate of 2500 kilobit per second is a good middle of the road value for what we want to do. You could increase or decrease this if there would be a need, but we leave it at 2500 right now. An important parameter is the type of encoder that you're going to use, either software, and that X264 here, or if your computer allows it and has a dedicated graphic card, for example, you could encode on the hardware. It's not the case on this laptop. The next setting is the bitrate at which you're sampling the audio. So here, 160 kilohertz. This is excellent quality. No need to go much higher than this, and lower would not be necessary to go either. Important settings is to decide where we're going to record. So this is the path to where our recording are going to appear, and here they're arriving directly on my desktop. We want the recording quality being the same as the streaming, so that was defined here, and we leave it like this. And importantly, the recording format should be set onto MP4. So this is the most versatile format that we can use so far here. So set it up on MP4. Good. Audio tab, nothing to change so much about right now. The video tab is an important one. Two crucial parameters: the size of the canvas, which is this black area that you see here. So how large is the area in which you're going to arrange your sources. So you have different set of values ranging from 2560 times 1440, which would be the size of my screen, right now maximum size of my screen, all the way 1920 times 1080, so HD, so high resolution, and 1280 by 720. So it can be tempted to try to record at the highest possible resolution, but this will generate large files, and you have to keep in mind that most of the recording we are doing will be watched on either laptops or tablets, or even on cell phones while being in the bus. So there is no need to generate crazy high resolution recordings. Everything will be much faster if we record, and the load on the computer will be much lower if we record at 1280 by 720. That's fairly standard here. An important parameter, so this is the size of our canvas. We could decide to have the output at a lower value than the size of our canvas. So you have a set of preset resolution here you could select. So we're going to output at the same resolution that we record, so 1280 by 720. If we would downscale, then you can decide which kind of filter you're going to use for downscaling. The Bicubic is doing an excellent job. An important parameter here is the frame rate at which recording is made. And you can set it to different value, ranging from 10 frames per second, that would be extremely slow and not usable for us, all the way to 60 frames per second. So OBS is well used by people doing games, so gamers that record the sessions. And they like to record at a high frame rate, so they typically crank it up to 60 frames per second. In our case, where there is not a lot of action happening usually on the screen, 30 frames per second is a totally fine value that keeps the load on the CPU and the computer relatively mild. Good. So that was the video tab. The hotkey, I will come back to that later. And the advanced key tab, this is where you could set up a few more advanced setting. One of them, for example, would be the naming convention for the files that are created when you record your sets. So by default, they are set up to the year, month, day, and the time in hour, minutes, second. So you could change this, adding, for example, prefix, so prefix, underscore, and this would save the file like this. Okay, so we are done with the settings, so we can simply press OK. So our scene, we want to combine, in our case, 3 elements. We want our slides, we want webcam picture of ourselves, and we want to record the sound. So we're going to start with the song. So those are the 3 sources we need to combine in our scene. So to add a source, you simply need to press plus here, add, and select the type of source you want to in. So let's start with a microphone. This will be an audio input capture. So assume that you have a microphone plugged into your computer, into your laptop right now. Typically, one of these microphones that I'm currently using that you can plug onto your cell phone would do a great job. But you could also buy a little lavalier tie microphone to hook next to your jacket, and as long as it's plugged into your computer, it will make a good job. So we can name this audio source. So we'll call it microphone, very originally, and press OK. So a new window opens where you can select which microphone currently connected or which source of sound currently connected to your computer you want to use. So in my case, I have a bunch of them, but I'm going to use the one called Shure BT2, which is my wireless headset that I'm currently wearing for my phone. Press OK. And now you see that in the source, the microphone has appeared, and in the audio mixer, a new view meter has appeared, recording, showing the intensity of sound being recorded. So as I'm talking, you see the view meter going, and as you certainly know, when you record audio, you never want to be your intensity to go into the red. That's bad. You start to get distortion. So in our case, it is a bit too high, so you can lower the input. We're going to lower it to -4 dB. And now when I'm talking, naturally, mostly into the green, and every once in a while picking into the orange. I can even put it on -5 dB, and that sounds very clean to me. So 4.5 would be perfect. Yes, excellent. The second source of input we want is a webcam input, so a picture of ourselves. So we click here on plus, and we select a video capture device here. Click this, we name it webcam, give it explicit name, makes your life easier down the road, and click OK. So same thing, a window opens, and we can select the type of camera currently connected to the computer that I'm able to use. So I have my laptop and 2 other screens, each equipped with a camera, plus a wireless camera set. So I have 4 that I can choose from here, and I'm going to pick up the one called FaceTime HD Camera Display. Here it is. And normally, yes, you see me. Hello, hello. Okay, so now, as you see the window, the image being captured, I can press OK, and now the image captured by the camera is occupying the full canvas. So that's a bit too much. We would like to leave some space for slides and not only see a picture of ourselves. So how can we resize this? It's relatively simple. You simply need to grab these anchor points that you have in the corners in the middle of each side. And when you click it, you can go down and resize your input. You can also click in that input and move it onto your canvas. This is where this audio source, this video source is going to be positioned. So if for some reason we would like to trim a little bit what's on the left or on the right here, so it's occupying a bit too much space, what you can do is you press Option and you click one of these anchor points, and then you can trim your video source or your source in general to the dimensions you want. So here now I've trimmed a bit of the left and right, and I'm going to position this webcam view into the lower right corner here. Okay, so we get the microphone, we get the webcam, now we want to have our slides. So to capture our slides when they are in full screen mode, what we need to do is to do display capture. So we click on plus and do display capture. So we'll call these slides and we press OK. And well, it's kind of working because you have this stripped out version of the screen where my screen is recording my screen, which is recording my screen, which is recording my screen. But what's important is that you have these properties for slides, so this window that tell you what source you are, or which screen you're currently capturing. So I must say that here, right now, I have two screens connected to my computer. So I have display 0 and display 1. So I want to record what's happening on the other screen, so I click on display 1 here. Okay, I press OK. And now what you see on my canvas is my screen, but the resolution of my screen is much larger than the resolution of my canvas, so it's all cropped out here. So how do I make it, the content of my screen fit my canvas? It's very easy. You select the source, so you see it's in red here, and you make a right click, and you go to transform. You can do a lot of transformation here. You could rotate everything wise, you could flip it upside down, you could flip it horizontally, or what you could do is fit the screen. And now this is automatically scaling the content of my screen here, my second screen, onto full view onto the canvas here. So this is nice. Now if I'm here on the other screen and I move a window, now what's happening there is recorded. Good. All right, so we have our slides, a webcam, and a microphone. But ideally, what we would like to have is that our webcam view, which I'm seeing here, you can always toggle the visibility of any of your element by clicking on this little eye here, or you can also lock any element in position by clicking this lock icon here, so that you can't click on it anymore. So we will do that for the slides, that is good. And here you see that my webcam is here, but I don't see it. And you don't see it because the sources in a scene are stacked onto each other like layers. So if my slides are above my webcam, I can't see myself. So the only thing I need to do is to bring my webcam one notch up. And here it is. Now the webcam layer is on top of the display layer, the slides, and now I can see in the canvas my slides and myself. Great. So we are actually pretty much good to go. We are capturing the screen, we have the view ourselves, and we're capturing the audio at a decent level, so we can start to hit record. Okay, so to start recording, the only thing you need to do is be ready, have your PowerPoint ready, put it on the right like as you would do usually here it's Keynote that I'm recording, but it doesn't really matter. And you simply hit start recording. Good. You see that it is recording by two things. First off, the load on the CPU is increasing moderately here, and you see the counter here, rec, increasing as well. So now what you can do is you go onto your screen and switch to full view, so presentation mode, and now everything happening on your screen, on my second screen here, is being recorded. So my presenter notes that are displaying on the second screen are currently facing me, so I can interact with them, and I can start my recording, move to the next slide. If I have a mouse and I move it, the movement of the mouse will be captured. And if you have one of those gizmo as a remote control that displays screen, like a point over the screen as a pointer, this will be recorded as well. Okay, now your slideshow is finished, you can quit. And the only thing you need to do to finish is click here on stop recording. And what you see is that on the desktop, a file has been created. So to just check that it works, I'm going to minimize that window and open up that file. Here it is. It opens with QuickTime Player in my case. And now I'm going to play. No, yeah, I just switched to full-time view, and this is actually what has been recorded. So your slides are recorded, and yourself as well. So you can now give your lecture as you would do normally. And so yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to cover with you today. So what have we seen? We've seen how to install and configure OBS. What are the main concepts behind OBS, the concept of canvas and scenes, the different sources you need to handle in order to record your lectures. So your microphone, your slides, and a view of yourself. That is always better for the student, make it more lively. All to arrange them, resize them, and set up everything for recording. What we will see in next video is how, once we finish with recording, we can edit the recording to eventually cut what would not be appropriate, or errors or mishap or things like this, so minor edits, or add some elements. And we will also see how to upload it to server. So thank you very much for following this, and I hope I see some of you for the next video. Ciao!